Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and this is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole, and here's my 2025 Santa Anita Derby and also the Bluegrass Stakes pick for the week of April 5th. And my pick for the Santa Anita Derby, though it's a chalker, it's really a bad chalk, but it's going to be Citizen Bull. Why Citizen Bull? He's danced every dance. He won the Robert Lewis. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And right now, as I saw the field, he's not running too much against anybody. Yes, everybody say, well, he's running against journalism and also Barnes. But you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that Barnes is trained by the same trainer by Bob Baffert. And the way I see this race is that basically Bob Baffert is going to have Citizen Bulls going out to the front and Barnes sitting on offensive flank. And if they want to canter, they can. The reason for it being the same trainer, neither one of them need really the real points to get into the Derby field. They have enough right now to qualify, and this is a detriment to the rest of the field. Journalism is running in this race, and I think there's going to be a regression and that San Felipe race where both Barnes and journalism ran a real good race and high speed figure. Citizen Bull has the edge on us because of his maturity, taking the lead. He just goes out there and just hangs out in the lead and just nothing really flushes a horse. Even Barnes being in the outside, and the way I see the race coming out of it, I think as I stated earlier, the Citizen Bull is going to take the lead. Barnes is going to sit in the flank, and Gentleman is going to be forced to be a lot closer than he was even in a San Felipe, maybe third out, being pushed out a little bit wide. And he's going to have to make two moves, not just one when he beat Barnes in the San Felipe. He's going to have to make two moves on Citizen Bull and Barnes to catch that speed because it's going to be the speed of the race making the pace. Second is going to be the stalker, and more likely that's Barnes stalking right now. So he's going to have to catch two kinds of speed: the stalking speed and also the speed of the race, and that's very hard to do. You could do with one, normally not with two. You could do when there's like three or four pressing the pace, but not. It doesn't look like there's going to be a really fast pace for the Santa Anita Derby. Bullard's back with Michael McCarthy, and he didn't show me a lot when he went out east to Oakland Park. He's really going to have to really up the game, and I just don't think he has the class to do it. So it's a 1, 2, 3. There's two main special horses are trained by John Sheriffs. And look at the form; they're over the barrel against this talented field. That's short in quality, but the first three horses are they going to be the first three choices because of what they've done in performances right now. So my pick of the race, unfortunately, is going to be Citizen Bull, which will be sitting 3 to 5 at more probably when they open the gates up with Barnes being around 8 to 5 and journalism around 2 to 1, and that's how I see the race. Now there is information though that Barnes might go to the Bluegrass Stakes. That doesn't make any sense because I saw the field and there's a plethora of speed in that race. So him shipping away from Santa Anita to get to Keeneland in that race doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is having him close to Louisville before Derby Day. That does make sense. But why would you let him run against the horses that are going to be participating in the Bluegrass Stakes is beyond me. I don't think that's going to go. And if it still goes, the dictating pace is going to be Citizen Bull, and journalism is going to have to work that hard, a lot harder than he did trying to catch Barnes. And you wouldn't think he would have to winning the San Felipe after he caught Barnes in that really thrilling stretch run. But Citizen Bull has my signature on that. I like Citizen Bull. Can't play him any kind of win place or showman. That's just crazy. The pick fours or the pick fives, and then you bullet him, and that's the only way you're making money. Besides that, you might get about 4 or 5 to 1 in Kentucky Derby Day, and that's when you put him to win if you like this horse trending into the Kentucky Derby. So that is my pitch for the Santa Anita Derby. On to the better race I thought was the Bluegrass Stakes, and this has come out a really good field. You have Owen Almighty in the race, Chancer McPatrick, East Avenue, of course, East Avenue, and Burnham Square Shipping also, and there's other horses in there in the race. So my pick for the Bluegrass Stakes, I got to go. I didn't like the race that he came out of. Lost magnitude in the race start, but I'm going for a price now because his odds should be about 6 to 8 to 1 after that poor showing in the Bluegrass Stakes, and East Avenue is my pick. I'm going to use them in exactas, first and second with Chance Patrick and Burnham Square. I didn't know which way to go with either the closers. I like both. Burnham Square won the Holy Bull, and that was a really good race. So he ran down horses and didn't want to go the distance, but he showed a good punch. He comes also out of the Fountain U, where Salvatore should win tomorrow, should win tomorrow, and that was my pick. So coming out of that productive race, I have to use East Avenue Zata first and second with Chancellor McPatrick and also Burnham Square. I think Owen Almighty doesn't want to go a mile and 1/8. He showed guts winning the Tampa Bay Derby, but the fractional time was at 24 and 4 and 48. As you look at that race, was a beautiful ride by Ortiz. Like just kind of just got his own way. Nobody pressured him, and he won wire to wire. Contrary to the race before that, when he went nose and nose with the Sam F. Davis, with the potential horse that lost in the Louisiana Derby, and that's a different place price. So the pace should be nice and fast in the Bluegrass Stakes. East Avenue, the way I see him running, is going to be off the pace. He's got something to go on. Brendan Walsh wouldn't bring this horse into Keeneland if he thought he was already done on the Kentucky Derby Trail, and should stalk kindly. But Chancellor McPatrick and Burnham Square are going to be coming on the last 2/8 of a mile to try to catch East Avenue. And that's my pick for the Bluegrass Stakes, and that would be the exacta with East Avenue on top versus second with Chancellor McPatrick and Burnham Square. And this is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole. Have a good morning, folks.